welcome back to episode 119 of Talkoffamepod podcast with your host, Kylie Montigney. And I'm just very excited to have on contestant of season 22 of The Voice, Ava Thuresson. Thanks so much for coming on, Ava. I can't wait to speak with you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, of course. I'm super excited.
Yeah, so you have participated in the Grammy camp for journalism and vocalist. What was being part of those camps taught you in terms of being a singer-songwriter and life in general?
Oh my goodness. Grammy Camp was amazing because we actually got to do certain activities and certain things where we would pretend to do interviews like you were an artist, and then the journalism aspect would ask you questions. And I was on both the journalism and the artist track. So going to Grammy Camp was really incredible. I think probably the biggest or the best thing about Grammy Camp was the people that you met. It was, like-minded high school students that loved music, loved different parts of music, the business, journalism, and the music itself. So honestly, meeting the people at that camp was probably the biggest takeaway for me. But the professors affiliated with USC just have great experience and great knowledge about the music business because they work in the business. But yeah, sadly it was on Zoom. I wish it were in person when I went, but I think the in-person camps, which is what they are now, is probably even better. So I couldn't suggest it more to the people out there that love music.
Is it associated with USC or is it part of a different program?
Yes, yeah, I think it's associated with USC. It actually you don't stay in the dorms or anything. It's over the summer, but you do stay in LA if it weren't on Zoom. And there's also different ones in Florida, I think, and maybe even Nashville. I could be wrong about that, but I know that LA isn't the only area that they have it. Um, but yeah, you get to stay and go to class like at USC. I'm sure that part is super cool.
It's amazing. Were the professors, like you said, actual people in the industry, or is it some people that I kind of know about singing and songwriting and stuff like that?
Yeah, they had really, really cool people. Some of the professors, one of them, Jason Goldman, he worked with like Michael Bublé. He's like a great jazz, just, artist as well as manager. And then they actually brought in artists. So they brought in, people like Echo Smith and um, the band that sings "Hey There, Delilah." I'm forgetting the name, but yeah, they all come in and they sing for us, and it's super cool. Bryce Vine was there, and he sung Drew Barrymore for us, and it's actually really incredible because after they sing, anyone can ask questions. So you can kind of raise your hand and ask the artist that's actually singing and making a living. Like you can ask them questions, which is really really beneficial for someone that wants to do music. But yeah, it was such a cool camp. It really really was. It was really great learning experience.
It's amazing. And as terms of singer songwriting, you got to be a contestant of season 22 of The Voice. How amazing is that though? The Voice,
I know. It really is. Sometimes I forget it happens, or it happened, but yeah, it kind of was. I feel like a lot of times what I tell people is I really was just singing in my room, applying to colleges. I wasn't even thinking, too seriously about music. And then I submitted it very, nonchalantly. I was very much not expecting anything out of it. And then there I was on stage, with Camila Cabello. Don't think that you're not good enough or you can't do it, because the voice accepts everyone, all different types of experience. And there'll be 15-year-olds and then there'll be 40-year-olds. So
mhm.
don't feel like you can't submit. But yeah, it was such a crazy experience. It was probably the craziest experience of my life. But it was super, just it felt like just like a summer camp almost, because all of us were just kind of like together. And you know it didn't feel as big until you saw it on TV, and then you're like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it was crazy.
That's amazing. You got to be on Camila Cabello's team, right? You got to choose to be on her team.
Yes, yeah, I chose between her and John Legend. which is obviously a very difficult decision. I just felt like because she was just a young female, I felt really, connected to her. And she was just an incredible coach. She really was. She really helped with confidence. She, would always say like, I would get overstimulated. I didn't, because all of this is very new to me, and I didn't know where to look. And she was like, "You can always look at me, and like I'll be like your pillar or whatever." And she really was an incredible coach. And then Charlie Puth, who she brought on like, as like a mentor, he was also super good. Really built up my confidence. And but yeah, I really am happy that I went with Camila. She was incredible.
That's so cool. I'm literally so jealous. I adore Camila Cabello. Like, did you like listen to any of like her music, or did you know who she was before, like being
Oh
on like her team
yes.
or whatever?
Yes, I definitely knew who she was. I mean, even just from Fifth Harmony,
Hmm.
and then obviously her as like an individual artist. It was actually funny. I was looking back at, I had a lot of downtime just in the hotel room, waiting and just, it was a stressful time. So I would always try and de-stress just by like playing covers or writing songs and just in my room. And actually, the day before, I didn't even mean to do it, but I covered her song "Real Friends." It's like one of my favorite songs, like
Hmm.
ever. And then the next day, I like got on her team. But I love her as an artist. Never Be the Same, Real Friends.
Hmm.
I love her songs. Like truly,
Hmm.
genuinely, I am a true fan of hers. I think you could tell in the episode. When I took that selfie with her, I was so starstruck. I couldn't even deal. But yeah,
Hmm.
I was a huge fan of hers.
Yeah, like I've been a fan of hers as well, like for years. Like I like with Fifth Harmony, like a lot of people knew her
Yeah.
from Fifth Harmony, then like Sheila ended up leaving. Like all of her songs, like it really shows like how much she really enjoys her music. Like from how she writes her songs and like publishes them. Like did like I have to ask you, like did your voice pick like your team for you, or you like picked it out?
Definitely everything with the coaches was very not staged. So like they had never heard my voice or song before, and I like chose the coach and everything like that. But I will say the voice did usually, a lot of people can say this, the contestants, the voice did pick like our songs that we were singing. And we kind of had a list that we chose from. So I sung "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time," but I'm very much not like a pop singer or anything like that. So it was a challenge, but it was a good challenge because I kind of just did something different with it. But yeah, in regards to the coaches and everything, I had that decision, and it was yeah, thankfully my choice.
Mhm. Yeah, because I know like with some like reality shows and like singing shows, I know like with some shows there some of them are like stage and some of them are not stage. So
Right.
I'm wondering like because of like The Voice, like it's been going on for 22 seasons. So I was wondering, like, oh, is this thing Shade already staged now? Like, what's going on here?
Yes.
Like you said, like you performed Baby One More Time. That was like your first performance, right?
Yes, yeah, I was very nervous. I definitely was not thinking anything. I lost my voice before it because we did reality, which is like all the interviews and everything that you see with my family. That we did that all throughout the day. And then I was like one of the last people to perform. And I was texting my mom, I was like, I lost my voice. Like, there's no way, like, I can't. And thankfully I got on, but yeah, there's no guarantee, I guess, like whether you perform or not. But yeah, it was kind of a crazy day.
Yeah, like I can't imagine what emotions you're feeling. Like with losing your voice, like if that were me,
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm leaving, I'm not doing it anymore, like I'm done
Yeah.
and quit.
I know. I kind of naturally have sometimes a raspy voice. Um, but yeah, I definitely felt just that feeling of, oh my gosh, my voice is not 100% right now. And it was funny because backstage, a lot of the contestants were, kind of like a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned as an artist, and they were kind of like, "We got this, guys. No stress." And then my vocal coach was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was freaking out. I could not deal with just the craziness of it just because I had graduated high school literally like a month ago. So I was just kind of freaking out. But everyone, it was a great support system. Everyone was kind of there for each other. It wasn't competitive at all either. Everyone was kind of rooting for each other and hoping for the best. But yeah, the emotions and the feelings before were indescribable, to say the least. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, like what like did you kind of like expect to even go like kind of far into like the voice? Like what you said, like
No.
you like you're like, oh my God, I'll be lucky if I even get to perform. Like that's the only thing I care about.
Yes, exactly. Kind of during the whole month that you're preparing your song and you're preparing to go on the blinds, you have no guarantee that you're going to actually perform. Basically, the producers kind of pick first, second, third, fourth days that you go and perform, and some people actually don't even get to perform. Sorry, my notifications are on. But yeah, some people don't even get to perform. So you're just kind of like working for your spot kind of the whole time. And then I thankfully was on the first day. I was one of the last people on the first day. So I didn't have to worry too much about whether I was getting to perform or not. But I found out I was performing the night before I was performing. So it was kind of scary. But yeah, it is kind of that like you don't know if you're going to perform or not. Um, so it's just I don't want to say it's luck, but it's definitely you know, whether it's your time or not is kind of decided by the producers.
Like when did you kind of audition? Like was this like before like last year or was it like before the pandemic?
Yes, I auditioned. I just my mom sent me a link in November of 2021. Um, wait, yes, yeah, that's correct. In November of 2021, and then I got a call back in December, and then I had to go through a bunch of, interviews and just sending more content of myself, sending like, just lots of information about myself. And then finally, I heard the final, like, you're gonna come to the blind auditions in February. So that was a very exciting call. It was a really happy day, but a stressful day because I was kind of waiting by the phone. But yeah, it was a long process. So I auditioned in November, found out in February, actually recorded it in June and July, and then the episode aired in September.
Yeah, so
So
like it was like a couple months process. Like it like took like was it like longer with the audition process or was like kind of like the recording and all that stuff longer?
yeah, the actual kind of getting into the voice was probably like the longest, just because they have to kind of like narrow down who they actually want to come to Burbank and audition. But the actual audition process was pretty long as well. It was probably like a month of just being in a, hotel, kind of trying to. It was funny too because my dance team from high school came for their summer camp and they were staying in the same hotel as me. And obviously, no one knew that I was on The Voice and I was just avoiding them the whole time. But but yeah, we kind of stay in a hotel for the probably the majority of like the summer. And yeah, we just kind of like it's kind of weird. It's a weird experience, but yeah, it was a long process.
And like, are you originally from California or are you like out of state?
Yes, so it's kind of confusing. I was born in San Diego, then I moved to Rancho Cucamonga, which is kind of a inland part of LA, and then I moved to North Carolina for about 5 years, and then I moved back to California. So during the time of The Voice, I was back in California. I went to high school in California, um, but I do have a little bit of North Carolina um, in me. But yes, I was in California, thankfully, so I was pretty close to home.
Like, are you like a like do you go to college in California as well or?
Yes, yeah. So this first semester was actually at UC Berkeley.
Mhm.
And then my sister, she goes to Claremont McKenna, and I transferred to Claremont McKenna just to be closer to LA. It's a little bit better for music. um, and just, shoots that I have to do are in LA. So I transferred to Claremont and now I'm here and I love it. I'm super, super happy here. But I went to Berkeley the first semester of my college.
Like, what was it like to go to well, now Clara, but like, what was like going to Berkeley, not Clara? Because Berkeley is one of my top choices, and I love California. So I was wondering what your experience is like in case I decide to kind of go to college out there or something.
Yeah, no, I really do believe that UC Berkeley has an incredible academic structure. I mean, it is really, really rigorous. You learn so much. You are surrounded by people that like to learn, which is a great experience. I did Greek life for a little bit, so if you're interested in that, that's definitely something that you can do there. You don't have to either, it's not like a huge focus at Berkeley. Um, but it's a huge school, you really do have to take into account how big the school is. It feels almost like you're in the city a little bit just because there's so many people. But because there is so many people, there's so many opportunities to meet people that are different, that are, similar. So there's just a lot of opportunities at Berkeley. There's just there's a lot of clubs. There's a lot of, just because it's such a massive school, it's such a massive, um, array of opportunities, if you will. So Berkeley is an incredible school. It really is. It's the number one public, institution. It's really crazy. So, I would suggest anyone, to definitely go visit Berkeley, see if you like it. Go to Cal Day, which is like high school students kind of go to see, what the social life is like. Really just get to know the school and choose it because you love it. But yeah, I would suggest Berkeley to anyone that is really interested in furthering their like academic. I think it was hard for me because I'm more interested in creative like routes. So I'm a little bit more of a obviously music and literature, media studies, that type of thing. So I felt like there wasn't as many people that were interested in that.
Mhm.
But besides that, there's really so many opportunities.
Mhm. That's awesome. Like now you got me more excited about Berkeley.
Oh, good.
Like the last thing I really wanted to talk with you about is like what is kind of advice or kind of like experience that you kind of want people to know about, like before kind of starting as a singer-songwriter, or people that are a singer-songwriter but want to really make it far but don't know how.
Yeah, for me, advice I would give is before I went on The Voice, I do a lot. Just, I kind of do a lot in high school. I do a lot in different parts of my life, and it's easier to post on social media about things that you're not, super passionate about because you don't want to be ridiculed, you don't want to be made fun of. And so I never posted anything about my singing or my songwriting or anything like that just because it was such a vulnerable experience and such a vulnerable spot for me. So my advice is not to be afraid to put out your music and put out anything that you're really passionate about because you'll feel so much more accomplished and fulfilled if you're really pushing out what you love. So I would just say, don't be afraid. And even just not social media, even just if you want to go and perform in front of people, like go and perform in front of people and make mistakes and, be ridiculed. It's actually good for you and, hear what they have to say, but don't take it too much to your heart. But yeah, I would just suggest to just have as much confidence as possible, especially to girls. It's hard, especially with social media. You want to fit in, you want to post what everyone else is posting. But I just really do think that if you post and, kind of put things into your life that you really, really love, like music or anything that you're interested in, it makes you feel so much better and more fulfilled. So
Like, how
definitely.
did you kind of like find that balance, like the confidence and kind of sharing what you love, like as music? Like, how did you kind of find that passion and starting to post in your music?
Yeah, I honestly think I had to get over the initial hump of posting my very first, cover where everyone's gonna see it and everyone's gonna, like it or comment or whatever. And I just had to get over that kind of initial fear. And then once I kind of got over that, it was easier for me to just keep doing it, keep posting it, and then people get, used to seeing it. And also just the bigger, idea of just not letting what other people think about you um, really affect you. At the end of the day, it's your life, it's what makes you happy. And you'll see that once you're doing things that make you happy, people actually really love it and people
Mhm.
respect it because it's just something that makes you happy and they can tell that it makes you happy. So, getting over that initial hump of doing something that makes you uncomfortable is always a good way to kind of get into the groove of things of doing something that puts you out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. Like that was like something I struggle with like being like passionate about women. Like that's like woman empowerment stuff like that. Like I was honestly scared about like showing how I felt. Like I was so scared to
Yeah.
share my passion with people. Like they think like, oh, podcasting, like what's up with podcasting or journalism or like with people in entertainment, they might think like, why did you choose entertainment? I need something in the entertainment field as a woman. I mean? This is something you just don't feel like you feel uncomfortable doing. But then at the end of the day, like it just like it might help other people, like you said. It might make other people happy. It might bring joy that people think like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy that she's really kind of sharing what she loves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I felt that same way in high school with the club that I ran. It was Girls Leading a Movement. And I went to a Catholic high school, and there really wasn't anything that was similar to that. And I was really nervous to start the club with my friend just because I knew that a lot of people would make fun of it. A lot of people, wouldn't really understand it. But then once I made it, there were so many girls that came to me and just said how grateful they were that this was created and that they feel way more heard after it was created. So really like, it feels super scary and it feels like you're going to be made fun of, but at the end of the day, you're going to help like so many more people just by you kind of taking the step and realizing that this is what I'm passionate about and I want to help people. And, I really, it's very admirable that you're doing this and that you're, kind of preaching what you're passionate about. So I think that that's really, really incredible.
Thank you. And I want to thank you so much for like coming on the podcast. It absolutely means so much. I love speaking with you. You seriously are amazing. And thank you so much for taking some time. I know we kind of struggle with some dates and everything when some things to get this done.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just so happy me and you were able to get this done. And Dassel, thank you so much for having me on. And I for having you on. I don't know, I said me. Oh, what the heck? But then like thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing 2023. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really, really enjoyed this. It was
Of
really great.
course. Thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Kylie.
Bye.